Every time you watch porn, your brain experiences a powerful surge of chemicals, dopamine, oxytocin, and endorphins. These are the same chemicals that reward survival behaviors like eating, bonding, and intimacy. But what happens when this surge becomes a daily ritual? Could it be reshaping your brain in ways you don't realize? This is not about judgment, shame, or telling you what to do. It's about science, neuroscience, to be exact, and understanding how your brain responds to repeated exposure to highly stimulating content. By the end, you'll know what's really going on inside your mind and what it means for your motivation, focus, and relationships. The brain's pleasure system, a quick primer. Your brain is wired for reward. When you experience something pleasurable, like eating your favorite food or achieving a goal, your brain releases dopamine. This chemical says, "That felt good? Let's do it again." Porn works on the same pathway but with one big difference. It delivers an intense and artificial level of stimulation. Unlike real-life intimacy, which has natural limits, pornography offers endless novelty. New videos, new scenes, new scenarios, all available instantly. Each new click gives your brain another dopamine spike, training it to seek more. The dopamine flood and tolerance. Here's where it gets interesting and potentially problematic. When your brain is repeatedly flooded with dopamine at high levels, it starts to adapt. Dopamine receptors become less sensitive, meaning the same content no longer produces the same level of pleasure. This is called desensitization or tolerance, and it can lead to escalating behavior, seeking more extreme, novel, or graphic content just to reach the same high. Over time, your brain may find everyday pleasures, like socializing, working toward goals, or even real-life intimacy, less stimulating by comparison. How daily porn use impacts the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is the part of your brain responsible for decision-making, impulse control, and long-term planning. It's sometimes called the CEO of the brain. Research suggests that excessive overstimulation, including from daily porn use, can disrupt how this part of the brain functions. For some, it may manifest as reduced focus and attention, lower motivation for non-instant gratification tasks, difficulty controlling impulses. In simpler terms, the more the brain chases quick dopamine spikes, the harder it becomes to find satisfaction in slower, more meaningful rewards, like building a career, maintaining fitness, or growing relationships. Emotional and relationship effects. Porn doesn't just affect chemical pathways, it can shape expectations and emotions. Unrealistic expectations. Porn often portrays intimacy in exaggerated or scripted ways. Over time, the brain can start comparing real-life experiences to these unrealistic portrayals, leading to dissatisfaction. Reduced sensitivity. For some, daily porn use can dull natural responses to physical touch or connection, making real intimacy feel less exciting or rewarding. Emotional disconnect. Solo activities, when overused, may create a sense of isolation or reduce the motivation to engage with a partner, leading to tension or distance in relationships. None of this happens overnight, but repeated patterns shape the brain over time. The cycle of escalation. One key reason porn has such a powerful impact on the brain is the concept of novelty. Dopamine spikes harder when we encounter something new or unexpected. Porn offers endless novelty, with millions of videos available at a click. This can create an escalation cycle where the brain becomes conditioned to seek more intense or diverse content, not necessarily because of preference, but because of dopamine tolerance. The danger? Real-life experiences can start to feel muted by comparison. The brain, wired for constant novelty, struggles to find satisfaction in the slower, subtler pleasures of real intimacy. Can this be reversed? The good news: your brain is plastic. It can change, adapt, and heal. Studies show that when people reduce or pause their consumption, dopamine sensitivity can recover. Pleasure pathways can reset. Here are some ways to support brain recovery and balance. 1. Take short breaks. Even a few days away from overstimulation can start resetting dopamine levels. 2. Practice mindfulness, meditation, and deep breathing reduce stress and help retrain focus. 3. Replace habits with rewarding activities. Exercise, hobbies, learning new skills, and meaningful connection can trigger healthy dopamine responses. 4. Track your progress. Journaling or using apps to monitor habits keeps you aware and accountable. Is porn itself the problem? Not necessarily. Experts say the issue isn't always the content. It's the frequency, the reliance, and the context. Daily use, especially paired with escalating novelty, can condition the brain in ways that may interfere with motivation, mood, and intimacy. But mindful, balanced use doesn't carry the same risks. When to reconsider your habits. How do you know if your daily porn consumption might be crossing into unhealthy territory? Here are some signs to watch for. It interferes with daily responsibilities like work, school, or relationships. You feel guilt, shame, or distress afterward but still find it difficult to stop. You need more or more extreme content to feel the same level of excitement. Real-life intimacy feels less satisfying or harder to enjoy. If any of these resonate, it might be time to reflect and possibly make changes. The bigger picture, why this matters. This is not about fear or judgment. It's about understanding how one of the most powerful forces in your life, your brain's reward system, can be shaped by habits you might not think twice about. By knowing what's happening on a chemical, emotional, and psychological level, you gain the power to make conscious choices. Choices about how you experience pleasure, how you protect your mental health, and how you show up in your relationships. Final thoughts. Daily porn use is not just entertainment, it's a neurological experience that reshapes how your brain processes pleasure and motivation. The more you understand it, the better equipped you are to find balance, protecting not just your brain, but your overall well-being. If this opened your eyes, hit like, comment, and subscribe to Wise Talks. Here, we explore the science behind the habits that define our lives, so you can live with more awareness, control, and purpose. And remember, stay wise.